Hey, what's going on, Black people? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today I want to talk about Taraji P Henson. I read something that was really interesting, thanks to Atlanta Black Star and also a sister named Cheryl Irvin. What they shared with me today was that Taraji was in this movie called The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. It was a very good movie, and Taraji did a great job. And apparently, she wasn't paid very much. I was really surprised by how much she got paid. And I want to kind of talk about this a little bit and really break this down and help you guys understand kind of what it is and what what you might be seeing in this in terms of what goes on in Hollywood and how people make their money. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're gonna get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day under one condition. The condition is that you have to be B1. That means Black first. It doesn't mean you have to be Black to be here. We don't discriminate, but it does mean that you have to understand why we love our people, and that loving our people doesn't mean we hate your people. So if you agree with that B1 philosophy, put a hashtag B in the number one of the chat, hashtag B1. Today I want to talk a little bit about Taraji P Henson, and Taraji is getting some attention right now because of an interesting breakdown of how much she got paid in this movie called The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. And what I'm going to do is actually show you a little image from the movie. It was a really weird movie. I don't know if y'all saw it. Give me a yes or no if you saw the movie The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. There's a screen share of Benjamin Button's character. It's played by Brad Pitt. They found this crazy way to like make him old and then a baby, and the baby was really an old man and the old man was really a kid, and it was just weird. It was real weird. Like, so this 80-year-old man is like playing with 7-year-olds, which if you ever see that happen in real life, you need to call the cops. But that's what was going on. That's what this movie was all about. And it was a good movie, and Taraji did a great job, and I was super impressed and super happy for her to get that role. She deserved it. She's super talented. We know this. Well, there was an interesting story I saw today. Atlanta Black Star talked about it, and some other outlets have talked about it as well. But I'm going to cite the Black media outlet because I love Atlanta Black Star. And they were telling me something that kind of surprised me a little bit, but it didn't surprise me. It surprised me, but it didn't surprise me. And basically, did y'all know that this movie, when she did this movie, this blockbuster movie that was seen by millions of people all around the world, she only made like something like $30,000 after taxes. Did y'all know that she only made $30,000 after taxes? And what's interesting is that Taraji has a pretty rational sort of logic that she's leaning on to explain why she feels like that was almost okay. I don't think she'd take that kind of money to do a movie now, but I think she kind of got it. But I wanted to break it down because you guys know finance is my thing. My PhD's in finance, so I like to sort of look at things happening in the financial world. And when I see something that piques my curiosity, I say, this is an opportunity to kind of talk about some concepts. So I'm going to reopen up this article. And as I open this up, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. If you have not done that yet, please do that right now. So it says here, actress Taraji P Henson is continuing to talk about her paycheck from the 2008 film, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Henson starred in the film alongside Hollywood's established stars Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett. But when it came to her payout, she pocketed significantly less money than her peers. Henson has previously stated that she pocketed roughly $40,000 for her role in the film, despite her total check netting $150,000. Her co-stars, however, pocketed millions. While discussing the evolution of recognition and pay disparities in Hollywood while on The Real last week, Henson, repeating a narrative she brought up in February, broke down exactly why her pay was significantly less than other members of the film's cast. Making reference to her $150,000 paycheck, the Empire star claimed her six-figure check turned into a deposit of less than $50,000. So Taraji basically is stating here that that even though she only got $150K for doing this film, she really actually only took home $30,000 of the check. And what she does is in the article, which you're welcome to read on Atlanta Black Star, basically she says, look, the IRS is going to take half your money. So that drops your 150 down to 75. and then she said that she had to pay another 30% to her management team, because when you go out in Hollywood and you're doing all these roles, you're going to have a bunch of people that are going to be working with you to help you secure those opportunities. So they end up taking another 30%, but they're not taking 30% of what you have left. They're taking 30% of what you got paid, right? So Taraji says that in this film, doing this blockbuster movie, making all the, that made all this money. The movie made $335 million, if I'm not mistaken. 335 million. I looked up the box office numbers on the Curious Case of Benjamin Button. It was an absolute blockbuster. Absolute blockbuster. $335 million. Taraji took home 30K. 30K. So let me see here. So 3K would be 1%. Or sorry, 3 million would be 1%. 300,000 would be 1/10 of 1%. So she took home 1/100th of 1%. So if you took that movie and you divided it up into 10,000 pieces, she would get one. I think that's, yeah. So if you took something, if you took all the money and chopped it up and spread it up into 10,000 pieces, she would get 1/10,000th of what that movie made. Now, here's the thing, and I'm sure you would agree with me. Taraji P Henson was worth far more than 1/10,000th of that movie, right? We know this, right? We know that she was significant. I mean, she was pretty important in the film. She wasn't just an extra. She didn't just play the lady at the grocery store who had two lines. She didn't say, she didn't play the clerk at the welfare office who says "Have a nice day." I mean, she played Benjamin Button's mother. She played his mother. Like that. That's pretty significant there, Taraji. There's the Benjamin Button image. It was a really creepy movie, by the way. Very, very strange, very weird. Only weirdos in Hollywood will come up with crap like this. But it was interesting though, right? It was intriguing. Like, what if you had an old man who became a young man, and whatever, right? And she wasn't just his mother. She actually played like an interesting role. She was almost like his mammy. Like it almost came off a little bit. Not, it wasn't quite a slave movie, but it came off sort of in that slave tradition of where the black mother becomes like the real mother of the white kid. And so she's like, there she is holding the baby, but really she's holding an old man. Like it's a crazy movie. You got to watch it. But she's holding a baby, but the baby isn't really a baby. It's like not like the baby, the rapper, the baby. Like that's a grown ass man who wears diapers. That's another conversation. But that is a baby, but the baby's actually an old baby, right? And then this is another image of her holding the baby, and when the baby's old, and she just loved the baby and took care of the baby. Well, she took care of the baby, but apparently the baby didn't take care of her, because when it came time to share the money, she didn't get much of it. Now, does this upset me? I wouldn't say I'm upset, because I feel like she's a grown woman. I feel like Taraji is actually quite rational in terms of explaining what went down. Right? Like I listened to her explanation, and she didn't quite sound bitter. She didn't sound like, oh, this is nonsense. She just told this story, and I think she knew that the story was probably going to raise some eyebrows, because we know that Taraji is a pretty big name. But I think that she also kind of gets it. She understands the game. And the reason I would say that she gets it is because she gets it in the way I got it. I remember years ago when nobody gave a damn who I was. And I still had a PhD. I was pretty smart, In fact, I had a PhD for almost a decade. I've been a professor at Syracuse University for a while. And so, only 1% of the country has a PhD. I was the only black man in America to get a PhD in finance in the year 2002. Right. So I was, I thought it was pretty hot shit. I don't know. And the thing was, though, you go out into the world and you say, I want to show the world how good I am at what I do. Well, honestly, the world don't give a damn. The world doesn't care. The world does not care how talented you are. There's a lot of talented people out here. So what happened was I wanted to write articles for the public, and I went over to AOL Black Voices, and they said, we can't afford to hire you because you're a professor. You probably want too much money. So you know what I did? I took the job and I did it for free. I did it for nothing. They paid me $0.00. And I didn't just come in and do extra work. I didn't just work for them in my spare time. I didn't just write an article for them, once every 6 months. I wrote probably 5 articles a day for them. It's something closer. Maybe it was 2 or 3, but as many as 5 sometimes every day, including the weekend. And I got paid $0.00 to do it. And people thought I was crazy. They said, why would you do that? You're being exploited. They're using you. And I was like, yeah, I know they're making money off me. I know they're going to get paid, off my work, because my work is good. But this is me. This was my thought process. My thought process is I'm paying my dues. I'm not going to be free forever. But right now, I need to go ahead and make an investment in myself to get you to invest in me later on. Because believe me, when we renegotiated the contract, the price of Dr. Boyce went up. The price of Dr. Boyce went up because I had proof of concept. I had proof that I could do an excellent job. And so the second negotiation, they paid me thousands of dollars a month to write articles for them because I had already shown my value. Now you might ask, why would I do that? Well, the thing is that when it comes to investing in you, if you're not willing to invest in you, then why would you expect anybody else to invest in you? That's always been my logic. My thought was, I think I can be pretty damn good at what I do, but if I'm not willing to invest in me, then I don't think anybody else will be. So maybe I need to be the first one. Now some people take a different approach. Maybe some people feel like you should get a paycheck out the gate. Maybe some people think you should get paid based on how hard you work. Maybe some people think you should get paid based on how much talent you have. The reality in the real world is that there are a lot of hardworking, talented people out here. And sometimes you got to get in where you fit in. One of the dilemmas of actors and actresses, particularly the black ones in Hollywood, and I've been out in LA a lot. I spent a lot of time in LA. I've made movies in LA, not big blockbuster movies, but I've been around famous people. There is literally an oversupply of talented, beautiful young black actresses. Like, seriously, it's an oversupply, it's an overabundance. Like, they're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. Like, literally. I mean, and when I made my movie in LA, it wasn't even a big budget movie. It was like, I think our budget was like 30 grand or something. and I had women trying to get close to me just so they could be in that movie. And I'm like, but you do know this is a $30,000 movie and we're not even going to pay you. But they were that desperate to get an opportunity. And this is when I noticed that for black people, because we are so in tune with the talent side of the fence and not as in tune in the business side of the fence, we can put ourselves into positions where we get played a little bit. Because out in Hollywood, last time I checked, now this might be changing since you now have a higher demand of content coming from Netflix and Disney and all that. When I was last there, I remember that it seemed that there was an oversupply of talented black people and an undersupply of opportunities for black people. Even if you were willing to play the buck-eyed slave, even if you were willing to play the neck swinging hoochie mama, even if you were willing to fill all the Jezebel mammy roles that are out there in Hollywood, there was still an undersupply of opportunities. They could say, we're running an ad for a big booty hooker who smokes crack on the weekends, who swings her neck and smacks her lips whenever she talks. You would have like 1,000 people at the audition, like trying to get that role, like literally doing their best little neck swinging, lip smacking imitation, right? Just to get that job. And so I feel like it's kind of a sucker's game, honestly. I think Hollywood is kind of a sucker's game. And I'm a big fan of what's going on in Atlanta. At least in Atlanta, you have black people that are actually running some of these studios. You got what Tyler Perry's got going on down there. Guys like Will Packer and Rick Mathis are down there, and Jay Morrison at the Black House and Greenlit ATL and stuff like that. Where I was really inspired by what I saw with the emerging actor-actress production scene down in Atlanta. In fact, it inspired me and my wife enough that we actually just bought a house down there because we're actually going to do some work out of the Black House to make movies and stuff like that. So I think that balance is starting to tip. But I think that what you really see with this is in the fact that Taraji took her $30,000 and was happy to take it, is the fact that when you don't really have any power, you don't have any options. And when you don't have a lot of options, beggars can't be choosy. If Taraji had said, I don't want your 30,000, I need you to pay me, or I don't want your 150. It was really 150. She got 30 after taxes. So even if she said, look, I don't want 150. I'm playing this guy's mother. I deserve a bigger role. Give me at least $500,000. You know what they would do? They would literally go find another actress who would do that job for free. And so what I think Taraji sees, and I was reading through her article, the articles in the Atlanta Black Star where they talk about it in more detail. I encourage you to go read it to support Atlanta Black Star. I really like their publication a lot. Basically she was saying, look, I paid my dues. This is how I got my name out there. Now Taraji, when she sits down for a negotiation, she can negotiate for millions of dollars. And she never would have gotten to that position if she had not went ahead and paid her dues early. But at the same time, there's an argument to be made that this is why you have things like labor unions, right? Because unions allow the workers to come together to form a capital base, which gives them greater negotiating power. One of the reasons that wages across the board in America have not gone up in the last 20 or 30 years, while CEO pay has skyrocketed, is because in the 1960s or so, there was a great effort by the wealthy and by corporations, particularly, and by basically people aligned with mostly with the Republican Party, to undermine labor unions. And when they did that, you started seeing nationwide, not just in Hollywood, but you started seeing nationwide a massive gap between the rich and the poor. And it's only been accentuated and accelerated by the rise of the technocrat. So now, with technology in Silicon Valley, sort of feeling like they can do whatever they want and make as much money as they want by basically utilizing capital bases that are not organized, they're able to then extract so much wealth and leave almost nothing to the people, which is why you now have a country where millions of people won't go back to work because they're sitting there thinking, I'm not going to go and give you hours of my life at $15 an hour. It just ain't worth it, right? So what happened with Taraji in Hollywood, from a labor supply dynamic. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a labor economist. I worked under a great labor economist who I think he's at University of Chicago now. His name was Dan Black, and so a guy like him could probably explain the dynamics of the labor market better than I could. But that's really what you see. What you're seeing is the reason that it made sense for Taraji to take that 150K is because there was an oversupply of talent and a lack of opportunity on the other side, an undersupply of opportunity, right? And this is a dilemma that millions of Black people go through all the time, especially all y'all out here that are talented singers, dancers, rappers, actors, basketball players, whatever. Like, we got millions of little boys who want to be in the NFL, but the NFL only takes, can maybe take 20 of them or 30 of them or 50 of them or 100 of them every year. And so the other 10,000 end up with nothing to do. So this is why, and I agree with you, Olivia. You said, why don't you recommend her a business manager for the next film? Olivia, I don't think Taraji needs a business manager. I'm sure she's got that handled. But what I can say is that at the Black Business School, which you do mention, thank you for mentioning that, Olivia, that we do talk about the fact that Black people need to own their own businesses. And we talk about how Black folks should own assets and own real estate and make stock market investments so you can get in on the other side of the fence where the big money is actually being made, right? So like when I talk to my daughter about being an actress, she wants to be an actress and we talk about it all the time. And I want to get her ready for that game. I talked to her today. I said, look, we're going to talk about brand building. We're going to talk about what it means to make a movie and what it means to fund a movie and what it means to own the project, so that when you become an actress, you're not coming in from a position of powerlessness. You want your children to have power, and power comes from the business side. It comes from the financing side. It comes from the economic side. It doesn't always come from the talent side. Okay. So anyway, those were my thoughts on this. And by the way, I wanted to mention also quickly to you guys that we actually are teaching Forex now in the Black Business School. We have a Forex master lecture coming up. So if you want to take a look and join us Thursday night at 8 o'clock and learn Forex, feel free to go to b1forex.com. That's the URL. It's being taught by Courtney Logan, who's a bad brother. He's a lawyer, and he's licensed in Forex on a very high level and extremely good at what he does. And so until midnight tonight, if you're watching this on October 11th, until midnight, you can actually get 48% off. And it's the regular price, I think, is $99 or something. So 48% off drops it down to about $51.48. So if you want to get some Forex training, he's doing a master lecture Thursday night at 8 o'clock. So feel free to go to b1forex.com. That's b1forex.com. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. Please have a good day. And as far as Taraji P Henson goes, I think that she had a very rational, logical way of explaining what happened. I like her explanation. I happen to agree with all the sentiments she expressed. She expressed it as, her paying her dues. But I do think that the lesson you can walk away from with this is that one thing that comes to mind is that when you talk about being famous and being rich, people think that fame means you're going to be rich, and the reality is that rich and famous don't always go together. Everybody thinks that because you're famous, that means you're automatically rich, and that's just not true. There are a lot of actors and actresses in Hollywood right now who are broker than 90% of the people that are watching this video right now. And so get that out of your head. Stop thinking that just because a white person put you on TV, that means that you automatically paid. That's just simply not true. And in fact, let me show you a group, and I want you to tell me who this group is and if you recognize them. And I have a personal relationship with this group. Anybody know about this group? Remember this? Remember this group right here? TLC, right? Yep. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Yep. So anyway, one of the greatest female groups of all time. I love them to death. And this one right here that I'm circling, Tiana, that is my cousin. Her name is Tiana Watkins. And Tiana, somebody asked her on Twitter, are you cousins with Dr. Boyce Watkins? And she said, no. Well, that's not true, Tiana. And let me tell you how we're related. We are related because your grandfather's name is Sam and my grandfather's name is Matt. And Sam and Matt are brothers. And both Sam and Matt, they ain't talked for like 40, 50, they ain't probably talked since the 1960s. Because I think one of them borrowed some money from the other one and didn't pay him back. So you got to pay back your damn relatives because then your grandkids get confused. But anyway, you remember the story of TLC. Y'all remember how TLC became very famous. They had the #1 album in the world. They were performing in front of sold out stadiums all across the globe. And they were making probably less money than Uber drivers. Like they literally could have been back then they didn't have Uber and stuff, but they could have been like delivering DoorDash and Uber Eats and shit and been making more money than they were making going around the world doing all that work. Right. So what happened was effectively that they signed contracts where they had these massive brands and they were recognized all across the globe. And everybody thought that because they were famous, that meant they were automatically rich. This thinking is a reflection of the fact that as Black people, we want to gain additional economic intelligence to understand when you assume that a famous person is automatically rich, well, how do they get rich? If you think that they're paid, well, how do they get paid? Who's giving them money? Why would anybody give them money? Do you think they gave them money because they sang? Because they can sing? Well, shit, we got 10,000 churches that probably got at least there's probably 10,000 churches that got some Black woman or Black man in that church that could sing their ass off. They can literally sing so good that the damn angels come down from heaven just to get a listen. Y'all know how talented we are, right? They didn't pay them because they're talented. They didn't pay them because they worked hard. There's a lot of hardworking people. If hard work made you a millionaire, then every janitor on earth would be a billionaire. Seriously, hard work is not what makes you rich. Being talented is not what makes you rich. It is when someone has the ability to monetize that talent. And also, you're able to negotiate your cut of the money. Well, if you don't have any leverage in the negotiation, if the supply demand equation is out of whack, meaning if there's an oversupply of talent and an undersupply of opportunities, then you can get screwed in the negotiation. So I saw the whole documentary with TLC, and I saw, because a lot of us as Black people were trained to live in the victim box, right? We don't sort of dissect what's going on. We just kind of live in this weird victim box where we can understand how Black people get. There we go. White people outsmarted us again. Those wascally wabbits, they tweaked us again. Like we're the damn coyote and they're the road runner, and the road runner is always outsmarting the coyote. Well, I'm not, white people aren't smarter than me, and very few people are, and I'm not gonna sit here and just concede to you every time. I want to understand if you did outsmart me. Well, how did you do it? What happened? Like, are we gonna sit down and do some critical analysis, or we gonna sit around and just complain about the fact that they took care of themselves, that they hooked themselves up? Well, when you look at the situation with TLC, which might be similar to what Taraji went through, which might be similar to what New Edition went through, because you know the story about New Edition. I think one of the guys from New Edition's in the Black Business School. He's a good brother. Anyway, when you think about what happened there, what you really saw was a supply-demand imbalance that was exploitable by those who had access to capital. It was the control and ownership of capital that led to the imbalance that created a scenario in which a contract was signed that was heavily favorable to the other side. TLC says, hey, we have a great group. We want to sing. And they say, yeah, we got 10,000 other girls that want to sing too. And they offered them a contract. It was take it or leave it. And they could have sat and negotiated and said, well, we read it and we want to get more money because we're going to be the greatest in the world. And they would have said, get out of here. Get out of here. Forget it. We'll just find somebody else. Right. So that control of capital, that control of distribution, that control of the monetization process, all these other things, that's where the levers of power are pulled. And that's not what Black people always see. Give me 1 second. Let me turn my phone off. Hit the thumbs up button while I do that. Hold on. See, that's the life of Boyce Watkins. People always they're always calling like right during my podcast. It's a conspiracy, I swear. Like they do that on purpose. It's COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO does not want me talking to you today. Anyway, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. So the bottom line with this is that when I heard about Taraji's situation, I thought about TLC. And I thought about the people that really are rich and famous, the people that really do have deals that work in their favor. And typically it comes down to the amount of negotiating power you have, which isn't just preparation and reading contracts and all that stuff. It's also about creating leverage through the control of capital. And so as long as white folks control the capital, or you walk into situations where they control the capital base, you're probably going to be at some sort of strategic disadvantage, which is why the number one thing Black people can and should do in this generation, which many of you are doing, is the accumulation and access to capital. If you give your children access to capital, then they're going to be empowered in almost every negotiation that they enter into. But if you leave them with no capital, meaning that you don't invest in them, you don't teach them economics, you don't prepare them for the future, then guess what? They're going to get screwed just like their mama did and just like their granddaddy did. And that tradition will continue. So again, you got a choice, like a football team. You know, are you going to be the team that gets last place in the division every year, or are you going to be the team that forms a championship culture, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did when they got Tom Brady and all them brothers on the defense that led them to a Super Bowl? What are you going to do, Black people? Are you going to win Super Bowls, or are you going to keep being the Jacksonville Jaguars? It's totally up to you. All right, guys. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. You can get a free copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, at boycewatkins.com. And also, don't forget, we're doing the Forex class this week. So if you're interested in learning Forex, I'm going to be a part of it, but I'm not going to be teaching it. We found an expert. It took us 2 years to find a brother that we wanted to work with on Forex, or we were looking for brothers and sisters, but we found a brother named Courtney Logan that we really like, and we really think he's very good, and he's super well trained. And if you want to take a look, just go to b1forex.com, and everything in the Black Business School has a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. And Courtney's also coming to the All Black National Convention, which is going to be in Orlando. And so if you'd like to also meet him and talk to him at the convention, and as well as all of our other experts, you can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. So we're not just talking about it, we are being about it. We are solution oriented. We don't just sit around and complain, because we believe Black people are winners and not losers. So stop worrying about what other people are doing to you. Start talking about what you're going to do to them. All right, guys. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe. I'm out of here. Have a good night. God bless you. Love you. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.